Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best anime with strong adult-oriented content. Number 30, Ninja Scroll. While modern media is generally regarded as being more violent and prone to adult content, there are some bloody great classics to be found.
That's the only sensible answer, isn't it?
Ninja Scroll follows Jubei, a ninja turned mercenary who intervenes when a group of powerful ninja seek to overthrow the shogun in feudal Japan.
If you want to kill me, you mustn't make any sound at all.
The only sound you'll hear is the sound of your own voice screaming.
A Madhouse production, Ninja Scroll proved influential in exposing the West to how dark anime could go. The violent exchanges, gripping storyline, and tremendous animation that holds up well make Ninja Scroll a must-view for connoisseurs of older anime with an edge.
If you kill me, then he will die as well.
Number 29, Technal. Cyberpunk anime were in their heyday in the 90s and early 2000s, but Technal still flew under many people's radars.
Now what do you find so funny?
I'm just wondering by whose will he's still being kept alive.
Another Madhouse production, Technal follows Ichise, a former underground fighter who, after having his limbs replaced, becomes involved in a conflict between his city's major factions. The series is primarily a thriller with plenty of violence throughout. The bleak atmosphere and occasional dips into surrealism are also decidedly not for the younger crowd. It may be pretty depressing, but if you can handle the existential nihilism, Technal is a hidden gem of a cyberpunk series.
Just fight and fight. Crush each other.
Number 28, Prison School. After miraculously finding themselves enlisted as the only guys in an all-girls school, it doesn't take long for our cast of characters to completely ruin whatever luck they had.
Most impressive, madam.
Deal with this scum, won't you?
When their peeping plan goes south, this crew finds themselves locked up in a school prison that is run by the student council themselves.
Don't you ever patronize me, you pathetic wannabe!
What follows is quite possibly the most ridiculous prison break you'll ever witness, with twists and turns and outlandish shenanigans that'll have you laughing every step of the way.
This full-on tongue kiss will go down in history as my own Light of Shimatsu move!
Number 27, Goblin Slayer. If you're looking for a fantasy romp with more edge than a Go Gaia roleplay, you needn't look any further than old GS over here. Due to a traumatizing event from his past, this ironclad killer has only one thing in mind: slaughtering every little green SOB he can find. While the premise may sound pretty thin, this is a surprisingly hard-hitting tale that doesn't know the meaning of boundaries. You'll soon find yourself getting an endorphin rush every time Slayer takes down one of these little freaks. Trust us, they more than deserve it. Number 26, Interspecies Reviewers. You are damn right we're going to be recommending this one. How could you not want to feast your eyes on the show that managed to blur the line between ero comedy and something you have to watch on an incognito browser to such an extent that it ended up pushing the boundary too far for modern audiences? So what sets it apart from the other fan service-based shows out there? It's hilarious as it follows a cluster of wannabe adventurers going around and reviewing the various businesses made up of mythical ladies. It knows exactly what it is and does it better than anyone else. Number 25, Drifters. Ever wondered what it would look like if an all-powerful, enigmatic entity picked up and dropped off several historic figures into a medieval setting with elves and dragons and have them run wild? Chances are it's not nearly as slick and ferocious as this. With the Black King and his horde of famous real-life villains running amok and causing chaos, the likes of Toyohisa Shimazu, Oda Nobunaga, Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, along with numerous other icons, are forced to band together and start slaying their way through every orc, corrupt noble, and evil figure that comes their way. Number 24, Doro Hedo. A guy with a lizard head slicing apart sorcerers, all in the hope of trying to reclaim his lost memories and discover why there's a random guy living inside his mouth. Bonkers, bloody, and brutal, Kaiman's exploits in this crazy-ass world are nothing short of a delight. It's a wild mystery made all the sweeter thanks to so many colorful characters to bounce off of, especially Kaiman's adorable badass bestie, Nikaido, and the smiling Amazon goddess, Noi. How can such a bloodbath of a show have this many great girls? Number 23, Chainsaw Man. After pulling its cord back and letting it rip, Chainsaw Man and its accompanying hype have scarcely let up. The series follows Denji, a teenager whose contract with a chainsaw devil gets him involved with an organization that polices devils that threaten the public. Shocking is perhaps the best word to describe Chainsaw Man, as its ultra-violent action, dark humor, and boundary-pushing perverse moments are all extreme, even by the standards of most other R-rated anime. Its tone and content may not appeal to everyone, but Chainsaw Man is a rip-roaring good time for fans of darker anime. Number 22, Kangan Ashera. Underground tournaments, death matches, absurdly powerful fighters, and one man's yearning for revenge. Welcome to Netflix's most kick-ass action romp to date. With the illustrious position of chairman on the line, numerous martial artists, killers, and borderline monsters are dispatched to represent their respective companies in the Kangan matches. This includes Oma Tokita, whose personal goal continues to push him to beat the crap out of anyone who steps up to him, and his Nico style, all in the hope of landing some much-deserved vengeance. As silly as it sounds, they really don't pull their punches here. Number 21, Parasite the Maxim. Aliens walk among us, and they just so happen to be hiding inside of people, just so they can continue their insatiable hunger for human flesh. Nice guy Shinichi unfortunately finds himself caught up in this bloody struggle when one of these intergalactic parasites takes up sentience inside his right hand, allowing him to retain his humanity while relying on his new shape-shifting partner to help defend him and his loved ones from some not-so-friendly body snatchers. Fair warning, they don't skip out on the gore here. Number 20, Baki franchise. If you can withstand the whiplash that is this martial arts fiesta's continuity, then prepare yourself for plenty of do or die fistfights.
And now, it's
Payback time.
Following the muscular exploits of the fighting prodigy, he along with his fellow ridiculously ripped allies find themselves hauled into an endless series of grudge matches where you simply can't guess what's gonna happen next. You may come for the showdowns, but you'll be sticking around for the absurdity that is Baki. Number 19. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Based on the video game Cyberpunk 2077, Edgerunners takes the gritty cyberpunk world envisioned there and goes nuts with the concept as only Studio Trigger can. Teenager David Martinez falls in with a group of underworld mercenaries after a personal tragedy. His journey into the neon-lit underbelly of Night City is as entertaining as it is bloody. The series has a beautiful, frenetic art style and some unforgettable characters, despite its short runtime. Number 18. Psychopaths.
Activating Dominator Portable Psychological Diagnosis and Suppression System. Now online.
A neo-noir detective thriller from the mind of the man that gave us such traumatizing hits such as Fate Zero and Madoka Magica. Yeah, expect plenty of darkness going into this, along with an unhealthy amount of hating mankind as a whole. In a future where your very emotions are monitored and can land you life imprisonment should they spike to dangerous degrees, rookie detective Akane, along with hard-edged enforcer Kogami, are thrust into a deadly game of cat and mouse with a mastermind looking to disrupt the New World Order, only to discover that the status quo might be the greatest evil of all.
It's okay. We're with the Public Safety Bureau. I promise you're safe now. Just calm down. Ma'am, we're here to rescue you, that's all.
No!
Number 17. Black Lagoon. We could go into great detail about how this show doesn't shy away from violence. How its setting allows the worst that humanity has to offer to run rampant across the screen. Hell, we'd be happy to delve into the intricacies that come with seeing a boat full of baddies get wiped out.
Now witness the awesome power of this.
Shut the f*** up. Didn't you see I wasn't even listening?
However, all we really need to highlight in order to prove this series isn't for the kids is Revi's motormouth. This woman can curse like no other, to the point where it's kind of poetic.
Why don't I do you a f***ing favor and show you what color your brain is?
Wait! And we're connected.
Number 16. Higurashi When They Cry franchise. Don't let the fact that it's mostly about school kids fool ya. If real kids watch this show, they will be traumatized.
明日学校休んじゃ嫌だよ
The residents of a small village repeatedly find themselves experiencing some violent and disturbing events in the summer of 1983. And by repeatedly, we mean time loops. And by violent, we mean mostly a lot of murder. Unraveling the how and why of it all takes several loops and multiple anime, but if you have the stomach for the grisly events and an eye for mystery and time travel, Higurashi may be the anime for you. Number 15. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This anime starts with a kid who will one day be a vampire moving into an upper-class family, and it only gets stranger from there. The generational tale of the Joestar family and their many encounters with the supernatural, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is never afraid to go to the most outlandish and bloody places. The battles are as strategic as they are weird, and while the cast changes frequently, each group of characters is as entertaining as the last, though there are some recurring faces. Plus, the music and art style are killer too. There's just nothing quite like JoJo.
Hey, hey,
Number 14, Jujutsu Kaisen. It may be a shonen battle series, but Jujutsu Kaisen goes darker than most in the genre. Itadori Yuji and his friends' battles against villainous curses and fellow sorcerers are as action-packed as they are grisly or heartbreaking. While the series features all of the comedy and fight scenes that pervade the genre, JJK delves deeper into its characters' psychologies, while also pushing both them and the audience to their limits, with shocking developments, elements of horror, and tragic deaths galore, particularly from Season 2 onwards. Although it's not as mature as some other series, among its competitors, it's downright grown up. Mostly. Number 13, Fate Zero. The Fate franchise is no stranger to adult content, if you know what we mean. But its darkest chapter is arguably Fate Zero. The Fourth Holy Grail War sees 7 mages summon an equal number of heroic spirits, famous historical or legendary figures, to compete over the wish-granting object. Given that it's essentially a death match with the ultimate prize on the line, underhanded tactics, betrayals, and plenty of killing are basically expected. Yet, Fate Zero also features mature themes and delves deep into the motivations and minds of its cast. Of course, that only makes the inevitable tragedy hit that much harder. Number 12, Hellsing Ultimate. On one side, you have the crazed Catholics seeking to exterminate all sinners. On the other, you have the vampiric remnants of the Third Reich, led by a major who adores nothing more than war and killing.
My friends, I like war. No? Friends, I love war.
And in the middle, a gun-wielding Dracula who might just be the most bloodthirsty of them all.
It takes a man in order to kill a monster.
If you're looking to witness pure stylistic carnage, then you can't go wrong with watching Alucard go on one of his signature rampages. One thing is for sure, it sucks to be a civilian in this series. Number 11, Kaiji. It's just an anime about gambling. Surely this can't be more intense than a fighting series. You wanna bet? Open. The titular Kaiji is a gambler through and through, and the series sees him get involved in the world of high-stakes wagers. The way the show manages to ratchet up its stakes with each new game is incredible, with the relief and despair that accompany them flying off the screen. While it's not as consistently violent as some other anime, that only makes the few brutal moments even more shocking. There's no need to roll the dice on whether Kaiji will be good or not. It's a guarantee. Number 10, Perfect Blue. A running theme of all great R-rated anime appears to be that the worst monsters out there are none other than human beings. After immersing ourselves in this whirlpool of a psychological thriller, we're inclined to agree. While pursuing a career as an actress, former singer Mima soon finds herself on the receiving end of a dangerous stalker, all the while her grip on reality seems to slowly be starting to slip. Primal in its presentation with a visceral truth to it, this classic will have you holding your breath right up until its fever dream of a finale. Number 9, Attack on Titan. It's survival of the fittest, and unfortunately mankind is no longer at the top of the food chain. As giant humanoid beasts known as Titans wander the land, the duty of expanding humanity's reach is handed to the poor souls at the Survey Corps.
My friends are being devoured and all I can do is watch.
After his mother is killed and he finds himself inexplicably cursed with the power to transform into a Titan himself, a vengeful young man named Eren decides to take the fights to the enemy. Prepare to see a lot of characters get digested. Number 8. Ghost in the Shell. What separates man and machine? The answer might just be trickier than you think, especially when AI enters the picture.
I am a living, thinking entity who was created in the sea of information.
As Major Motoko Kusanagi hunts down the elusive hacker known as the Puppet Master, the film explores the concepts of life, death, and the ways in which technology holds sway. Don't worry if metaphorical musings aren't really your thing. There's plenty of disturbing imagery to pull you over. There's some scenes you really can't unsee. Number 7. Bano. Gangsters, immortality, and a whole lot of bullets.
Very good, Carol. I see what you mean by main character-ish.
Thanks to the show's dynamic cast of characters and their endless supply of charm, you'll find yourself falling head over heels for them in spite of their large body counts. Don't get us wrong, there's blood and guts galore, but that doesn't make Isaac and Miria's antics any less funny. Just like how captivating it is to see Claire Stanfield talk about how he is nothing short of a blood-soaked, omnipotent being.
I am the absolute center of this world, its creator.
There's so much to love about these guys that by the end of it all, you won't even blink twice at all the murders that occur on the Flying Pussyfoots.
It's time for you to die.
Number 6. Vinland Saga. You can't be a historical fantasy that chronicles the Viking occupation of England without highlighting the bloodshed and brutality involved. Going from innocent youth to an animal driven by an overwhelming desire for revenge, Thorfinn's journey is as compelling as it is heartbreaking. While the fight scenes between the various factions make for quite the spectacle, it's the narrative and character interactions that propel this series to the title of Masterpiece. Do not miss out on experiencing this unfiltered epic, even if it's only to watch Torkel punch horses. Number 5. Devil Man Crybaby. Are you feeling good about life at the moment? Then just watch this latest adaptation of the 1970s classic and you'll soon be reminded of how our species is no more virtuous than demons. After being informed by his bestie that the denizens of hell are using human bodies as hosts, local wimpy kid Akira finds himself unwittingly turned into a devil himself, but one with a human heart.
お前は悪魔の体と人間の心を合わせ持つ男。
Everything in this modern masterpiece is hardcore, from the violence to the feels. Won't be long before you're crying just as hard as Akira. Number 4. Monster. What happens when you save the life of a monster? Dr. Tenma finds out after he chooses to save a boy over the mayor of a town.
I have a surgery to perform in the other room.
The boy-turned-man, Johann Liebert, proceeds to haunt Tenma's every step. The psychological thriller examines the darkest parts of human nature in a mature and measured way.
I was supposed to die that night. You're the one who resurrected me, Doctor.
The nature of good and evil and other weighty topics can be difficult to convey well, yet Monster does so with grace and through nail-biting tension. Actions can have unintended consequences, but chances are good that the result of watching Monster will be you calling it a masterpiece.
Do you want to know what he told me? He said he wanted to be the last person left in this world.
Number 3. Berserk. It's a cruel world, and one the swordsman Guts knows all too well. Born from a corpse, beaten, thrown on the battlefield from the time he could walk, this guy has seen more carnage than any can imagine, and that's all before he finds himself drafted into the mercenary company known as the Band of the Hawk.
I find you much to my liking. I want you to join me, Guts.
From there, he finds himself embroiled into a 100-year war, facing down creatures not of this world, and suffering the greatest betrayal in anime history. Number 2. Akira. As far as dystopian futures go, this is one you certainly wouldn't want to be caught up in. Well, maybe for those slick motorcycles, but that's about it. As gang warfare erupts around the city of Neo-Tokyo, friends Kaneda and Tetsuo find themselves thrown into a whole new kind of hell when the latter finds himself imbued with immense psychic abilities. From that point, it's on. As Tetsuo's powers rage out of control, you can expect to see plenty of wanton destruction, along with what could quite possibly be the most disgusting transformation sequence of all time. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Cowboy Bebop. There may not be as much blood, arrow, or violence as other entries on this list, but in terms of sheer style, nothing tops the Space Cowboy.
What's wrong if you don't comply?
As the likes of Spike Spiegel and his mix-matched crew traverse the galaxy hunting down bounties, each find themselves thrown into a variety of hotspots with dangerous criminals, deadly assassins, and the infamous Red Dragon Syndicate.
You think I'm vicious? You don't know what vicious is!
There really is no other word for this show than cool.
And what was the real lesson? Don't leave things in the fridge.
Is there an R-rated anime we forgot? Don't restrict your comments and tell us your favorites down below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.